All right, so week 7, kind of a big deal. We made it like almost halfway. We're going to start a new Unity project. So close your laptops for now. I'll try to speed run this. And then when I'm done presenting, you'll have an opportunity to either work on this, or since there's tutors in the room, if they're over the shell shock of yesterday's tutoring session, then they may be able to help with other assignments. All right, so we're going to do sprint 1 of what we're calling Forest of Doom. And so this week we're going to learn how to use Tilemaps, which are really cool. So you'll create a new project, which I've already got started. Forest of Doom, whatever your initials are. I don't think we have any ZZZs in here. I know someone tried to copy my initials when I had those as the example. And then we're going to we're going to steal from ourselves and get the Scrippy Sprite side scroll player. And we'll start painting a cool level. So when you get started, there's all these instructions. And then we need to get this image, which I've already got downloaded. So I'll show you how all this works and then turn you loose. So I've got this. Actually, I'm going to steal from myself. Just pull this to the side and minimize that. I've got my player here as an asset pack. I'm just going to drag that in and import. We link to the Scrippy Sprites assignment from that page, so if you need to refresh yourself on how the side scroll player works, it'll be there. Good practice. Really, it's like one sprite in a script. 20 seconds? Sure. All right. So we've got our prefab for our player. Just going to drag him into my scene here, and he's just this little guy that we had before. I put a poly collider around him, so it's wrapped around his nice little rupee looking self, and I put a tiny little circle collider at his feet. The collider at his feet needs to be a trigger. That's what we use to see if we're on the ground or not. And then the body's got to be a regular collider. So we've got a rigid body on here, polygon collider that is not a trigger, and a little circle at his feet, his little toesies for his, that's a trigger so we can see if he's on the ground. One more thing I'm going to do before I get the rest of this set up, I'm going to drag the camera here. Let me zoom out and make sure I'm where I want to be. First, I'm going to set my player. He's at 0. He's centered perfectly. I'm going to drag my main camera in on top of the player. Now it's a child of the player. So the player is going to look really dumb. He's never going to really move in relation to the camera, but as he moves, the camera is going to go with him now. That's how parenting works. Your children just follow you everywhere. Player now is a child called main camera. I'm going to go ahead and save this scene as something else. So I'll save as, we'll call it Forest Level 1. Put it in my scenes folder. And we've got that started. So now I need to get the asset that I downloaded from our Canvas page. So documents, downloads, right there. Deep Forest tile set. I'm going to drag it in here. Didn't want it in my prefabs folder. Pull up. Okay, it didn't do it anyway. Cool. I'm going to actually make a new folder here. We're going to call it Sprites. We'll use it later. I'm going to make another folder while I'm doing that called Tiles. And I put an underscore on the front of them because if I download a bunch of asset packs, I like my stuff to be at the top of the alphabetical list. So I'm going to open my Sprites folder, drag in that tile set. Hello, computer. Huh. Why? Literally the easiest part of the whole lesson, dragging stuff in. And it's nope. Okay, there it is. Whatever. Okay. So now we've got this. This image is just one big image full of cool stuff. See if I can double click it and zoom way in. It's all of this. And we can draw an entire level with that. So I'm going to come up here. I've got it selected here in my sprites folder in the project window. Sprites, 2D and UI, that's good. We want to set that to multiple. For this particular one, we're going to go 16 pixels per unit. And then on this filter mode, we're going to go to point no filter, so it doesn't do any special blurring for us. I'm going to hit apply. And then I'm going to come to my sprite editor. This guy pulls up. I'm going to hit slice. I'm going to go by cell size. And we'll do 16 by 16 pixels. And you can see it's chunking out some nice squares for us. And then this method here, I'm going to go ahead and go to safe because I've got a few blank ones in here and I don't want it rearranging my grid. So I'm going to go my method to safe, hit slice, and apply. And that's all good to go. You can look and see that this has now been chunked out into, I don't even know how many, a bunch of small little 16 pixel tiles. Yes, save whatever just happened. Perfect. All right, let me just check my instructions, make sure that I didn't miss a step. Slice and apply. Cool. All right. Back here, I'm going to go window. Is that what it said to do? 2D tile palette. Create new palette. All right. So window 2D tile palette. I think I hit the wrong button. Okay, and I'm going to, where's my create a new palette? Button's just gone. Yes, there we go. Create a new palette. That's a rectangle, and we'll deal with cell sizes later. So perfect. We're creating a new palette, and I'm going to put it in the tiles folder. Apparently, it's just called new palette. It's hilarious. I did this like a half an hour ago. Totally looked different. Unity's messing with me hard today. It's because I'm recording. Yeah, that's exactly it. All right. So I'm going to come back here to sprites, and not one at a time. I'm going to grab this whole thing and try and drag it in here into that little space in there that says new palette. All right. And then again, put this in my tiles folder. Okay, I'm going to dock this over here and try and give myself some more space. Now you can see we've got all these guys sitting here, and it's literally a palette. Who's ever done some painting? Like with a brush and the cute little, yeah. This is what we're going to use to paint with. All right, so that's set up. I've got it docked here where I can use it. I'm going to come over here to the side, and I'm going to go to 2D object, tile map. So I right click to create something, and I'm going to do a rectangular tile map. I'll call this first layer forest. And I've got something I can paint in. This is the fun part. Well, it is for me. So we can just grab bits and pieces. So I can select, like say I select this 3x3 bit here. Why is it not painting? There we go. Turn the paintbrush on. And I can just start painting stuff into my grid. So we can have some platforms here at the start. I can select a smaller bit here, paste that, use this, and just start painting. Now is a good time for a Happy Little Tree Friends reference. Make a bigger platform. And I kind of hate that I'm going to drop into the middle of nowhere here. So I'm just going to make some hills between those that we'll use as bridges. Okay. So we're going to start painting a level out. We've got all these things to work with. We'll start layering them here in a minute. But for this forest grid, this is going to be what we want to interact with. We want to land on. So imagine I'm painting out a whole big level here. We're going to move on from that. So here with this forest layer selected in my grid, I'm going to come down and I'm going to add some components. First is going to be a tile map collider. Cool. Then I want a composite collider 2D. And when I do that, it automatically adds a rigid body as well. Something to note, once the rigid body goes on there, I'm going to set the gravity scale to 0. Otherwise, it just falls at the same rate that our player does. And it'll look like our screen is doing nothing and us and the world are just falling eternally. Terrible. All right, so simulated's good, dynamic's good, rigid body looks fine. I'm going to go ahead and just in case, I'm going to just set some constraints. We don't want this thing to move around or anything like that. We scroll up here to Tilemap Collider. I'm going to make sure that that is saying used by composite. Now you can see if we zoom in, starting to draw a little green line around all of our stuff that we've painted so far. So if I put this hill right here, a little green line going up over it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit play and let's just see if this thing works. Important step. Don't get too far into something without testing it. You don't want to put hours and hours into painting a layer or level only to realize that it doesn't work. So now we can jump around. If you look at the grass and all this kind of stuff, this is exactly how most of your 2D games get built. Mario, Sonic, all of it. They're just tiles that we pasted over and over again. Jump around. And for now, because we haven't built in any safety, we can fall off and just keep going forever. Yep. All right. Let's start adding some layers in here. So this forest layer is what we want our player to land on. They're physical objects that he's not going to go through. But we can add some more layers. So I'm just going to go ahead and just add a layer in here. Let me just check my old instructions. We did all that. I didn't say how to do it. Okay, awesome. (2D) tile map. Let's see if it's going to make a new one. No, okay, perfect. So inside my grid, I can just do the same thing, make a new tile map. We'll call this foreground. I'll make another one. We'll call it background. So 2D object, tile map, rectangular again. And then I'm going to do one more 2D tile map, rectangular, and we're going to call this danger. If you played around a whole lot with Scrippy sprites, you figured out that layering was a big deal. So if I go and look at my player here, I've got an order in layer under the sprite renderer. He's at layer 0. These layers can go infinitely either way. The forest should be on the same layer as the player. Makes sense. So if I come over here, somewhere in my tile map renderer, there it is, order in layer 0. That's good. Foreground should be in front of that stuff. So we're going to make stuff we can go behind. So I'm going to make this order in layer 1. Background should be behind us. I'll make it -1. And we'll start pasting onto each of these layers and we'll see what they do. So foreground layer, I'm going to use this tree trunk right here. And this will be a tree that I can go behind. Make sure I'm on the foreground layer. We'll put this guy on top. Derpiest tree ever. And now I'll do another one. Let me go to my background layer. I'll do this darker tree. The same derpy looking tree. And I'll put this there. It's not perfect. I admit it. Here, we should use these. There we go. That's going to look like it lines up better. We'll use that little middle piece. We don't have the gap. Okay, let's try this. You good? Fall asleep? Just drop your phone? Okay. So if this works right, we go behind this tree and we go in front of this tree. And now we have layering. Oh my gosh, it's 3D. It's so real. Yeah. Wasn't what I was going for, but I'll take it. Cool things we can do. I can come back to the forest layer here, and I'll just add a branch that I can jump on the forest layer right here. Okay, and then we've got all that. So that's on the forest layer, which means it should have added a collider to it. Oh, it didn't do it. Never been accused of that. Let me see. No, so I selected this, but up here it was still in the background layer. So let me just do that. Yeah, I'll just use the forest layer here. We'll just paint that guy back on there again. There we go, and it drew around it. So now I'll have a hard time getting behind that tree. We're going to fix that real soon. Hire some beta testers. You're going to need them. All right, and then I can get behind here and jump up on the branch. So that's layering. Super awesome. All right, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to make a danger layer. Okay, look at this. We got spikes and other evil things. Just draw those in on the danger layer. I'm going to add the same components. So I'm going to put a tile map collider on this guy. And I think I can just leave that as is and say is trigger. And then I'm going to add a script. So this will be the one script we do this week. New script. I'm going to call it epic fail. We got a little spinny guy down here. And we wait. All right. I don't need this jazz. That's just me cleaning up. I will need using Unity scene management. There we go. Don't need any of this. But I am going to use on trigger enter 2D. Okay, so this is going to help create that. And so we've got a collider going on here. I'm going to call this other. Just like it better. So if other dot, I believe it'll be game object dot tag, not comma tag. If the player just hit us, I'm going to use the scene manager to load the scene. Is it current? Get active scene. That should work, I think. Oh, all that help, and you're not going to fill in the brackets for me. Thanks. There we go. Maybe not. So what I'm trying to do is I've got a scene manager now, and I'm just saying, hey, reload the scene that I'm in. Let me just go ahead and cheat. Let me borrow from myself. Get active scene dot build index. Okay, I'm just missing one little step. So, scene manager, just reload the scene that I'm on if the player hits this thing. All right, I'm going to save that. We're going to reuse that a lot because I'm going to go ahead and make a box down underneath the level to catch us if we fall out of bounds. And we wait. Okay, cool. Jump around, on trees, behind trees, in front of trees, land on the spikes, and it resets the level. Easy peasy. Here's something you can do. You can come down here and either just make a big box, or since we've already got a danger level, grab your spikes, and we'll just make a big bed of spikes down here, just to catch us if we fall. Okay, now everything we paint on this danger level has got the epic fail script on it. So this will do a good job. We'll just make sure we don't go too far that way. This will do a good job of resetting the level in case we just oops ourselves off the map. Let's see how far I can jump. Ah, all right, perfect. Huh?
That's it? The epic fail script just returns you to the start?
Yeah, it just reloads the scene. Easy peasy. Why make it more complicated than it needs to be? All right. So this this tile map, I'm going to go ahead and open this in Piskel just so you can see what it looks like. Because next week, I think I'm going to want you to make your own. So I'm going to go ahead and import. Yeah, I know. Don't be scared. Deep Forest tile set, and we can just get a preview of what this looks like as a whole bunch of different. Oh yes. And that's it. As an animation, it leaves a lot to be desired. But here's all the individual bits, right? Broken out for you. Ramps, hills, leaves, trees, evil spikes, water. Yeah. So having deconstructed this, you can kind of imagine how maybe we can build another tile set using Piskel and then just export it as a sprite sheet. And then we get exactly this. So let me go look at the rubric here. Hello, there we go. All right, so we did all that. Oh, we got some other layers we can add on here. I'll play with that in just a minute. So we got some foreground and background stuff, some other graphics we can use. What I want you to do for this assignment, for this week, your individual Unity assignment, is you're going to make a 12 to 15 screen long scene. Screen being this box right here. So far, I've created 2. We don't get to count the spikes traps on the bottom. So that's 2 of these little boxes. What the camera sees is a screen. I've done 2. I want you to do 12 to 15. Now, that can be broken out one big long level, like 15 screens that way. If you just hate your players, you can go 15 screens up. I hate vertical games. I always fall down, go boom. Or to mix it up, right? So we go here a little bit, we go up a layer, we go down a layer, right? But either way, 15 screens of content. Make a level, drop in the scripty spike guy, and all he's doing is trying to make it to the end for now. Add some danger in there, and then use this script, and that's all we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and copy these, save these images. So I want that tree set and some rocks because we want to do more. So I'm going to pull these into my my sprites folder. Trees and rocks, just to give us some more flavor, some more flair. And then we need to do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and make this multiple. I don't know the size of this guy. We'll go ahead and make it 16, like the last one, and we'll hope and pray. Point no filter, sprite editor. Let's see what a 16 pixel does with this guy. Those are big trees. Let's try 32. Those kind of work. This probably wasn't made to lay out like the other one. I'm actually going to do something completely terrible and go automatic. And it just created bounds around all of those. Yeah, it's all right, I guess. Apply. And then I can just drag these, I believe. Yeah, save whatever I just did. Thank you. See if I can just drag these onto my background layer. Or if I need to make a tile sheet out of them. Yeah, so it's dragging these in off of my tile map because I've got them as other sprites, which is fine. They can just be background sprites that we go past. Again, as long as I don't add collision to them, and they're on a behind layer, so -1, then this will be just a tree that I cruise past. So we've got everything else constrained to our tiles, and these can be a lot more organic. Just to pretty things up. We'll put that on -1. And they just make my little tile drawn trees look even more pathetic, but that's okay. So that's the assignment. You can see where tile maps could be hugely beneficial to your final projects. So whoever's creating background art doesn't have to create entire worlds of background art. They can just make cool little tiles like, hey, look, that's what our walls are made of, and just paste them around everywhere. So you'll create that 12 to 15 screen long level with a side scroller player in there, and that's the Unity assignment for this week. Who's scared? Babies. It'll be fun, I promise. So this will be due Monday night. Quickly to follow up on the last assignment. So the spaceships assignment did scare people. I would say significantly more scary than this, but that's just me. So we did push that to Wednesday night. So here in a minute, I'm going to stop recording, and you can get out your laptops if you don't have them out already. I see. And you can either work on this if you're already done with the spaceship stuff, or now's a good time to get help with the spaceship stuff if you need it. Anything else we need to cover for today? We had a question where? Yeah, it's already going. All right. Oh yeah. You don't have to watch my videos. That's boring. Go find someone else's. They're way better. Yeah.
You said 12:15. Is there a way to know how long that is? Can you maybe square?
Good question. I mean, you can just eyeball it. So looking at the grid that's already here, a square is like one screen is like 2 of these grids. So if you do like 24 to 30 of these grids, yeah, just eyeball it. That's it. Yeah, that's good. That's almost a grid, almost 2 grids. So yeah, do 24 to 30 of those, and you're in good shape using that grid right there.